Consistency is always more important than intensity. I would say almost always. You know, when it comes to the when it comes to most domains in life, I've noticed that consistency will always help you more than intensity. Simply because consistency in general is something that's difficult to maintain. It's something that is emotionally difficult. And as a law of the universe, doing what's most emotionally difficult is usually what's going to give you the most results. And I've noticed that when it comes to, for example, working out, if you're working out, consistency every day is what matters. When it comes to nutrition, consistency every single day is what matters. When it comes to building any result, working on a project, writing your book, working on anything really, it's consistency is where you're going to build the skills. It's where you're going to move the needle. It's where you're going to get that volume in. And that goes back to my other episode when I talk about volume. Volume is really what's going to make some serious changes in your life. And from that is the consistency. It's the same thing with studying for an exam. It's way better to study consistently, 2 to 3 times a day, rather than doing a huge intense binge the day before. I've never had such an easy time going through school when I just was disciplined, putting in that consistent work every single day. But it's hard, it's difficult. Tell me, when was the last time you ended up being consistent with something for 5 years? When was the last time you done something like that? And the answer to that question can explain the lack of results that you're getting. In reality, if we just were consistent with all the things that built us, and if we were consistent with the skills, with training ourselves, I think we would be where we would want to be. If we were consistent with challenging ourselves, if we were consistent with putting in that work every day, getting that workout, if we were consistent with eating healthy, if we were consistent even if you want to socialize yourself, and being consistent with going out and constantly meeting new people, where would you be in 5 years? There is a time and place for the intensity, and I do think, you can't just be completely ideological when it comes to the intensity, just, going balls to the wall. Because a lot of times, when you're really intense with something, that effort is going to backfire. Whereas if you're just trying to be consistent with something, that's where the true long-term personal growth is going to come. Simply because you're slowly making changes to your character over time. Because it takes a certain type of person to stick with something. To even make a decision to stick with something for a long enough time shows a higher quality character. Because most people don't even stick with something for, longer than 30 days, 90 days, a year. Speak to someone who's been doing something that you want to be doing for 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. And to the person that's been doing it every single day for 10 years, you're going to want to listen to that person a lot more. And likely so, because you just know that them doing that thing every single day, that's what's going to get them to be thinking about that individual idea every single day. Like if you did something every day, it's always going to be on your mind. You're always going to be training your subconscious to be working for you in order to build that skill even more. Because, your subconscious, it's always working. It's always going to be working in the background. So why not use that and make it so that you're actually tapping into some of that potential. You're actually tapping into some of that energy reservoir. So your mind's always chugging away by constantly putting that consistent effort in every day. You're going to have your mind work towards you. And I remember this very specifically too when I started playing an old version of Tetris for the N64. I remember I was like just in the shower and I just noticed my mind trying to think of how to play a better game of Tetris. And when it comes to everything else, your mind will start to learn how to play a better game of whatever the hell you're trying to train. So I've noticed this. You will always grow a lot more. Anyone can pick up something and do something really intense for, 5 days, 10 days, 20 days. But it takes a real different kind of character to be able to actually stick with something for a very long time. And I think that you will learn a lot more than most people because most people will not actually go through that long process. Because really it's just being patient. Someone that's consistent with something has obviously made a decision that they are doing this for bigger reasons than just like the excitement of trying to, get a little bit better, right? It's that commitment to that long-term path of mastery. That's what we're really after for here. It's that long-term path of mastery. Because when we can commit to that path and give ourselves a life sentence towards what we want to create, a life sentence towards building the life we want, then we get that patience in the moment, and we allow ourselves to just go through the process, and we realize that life is going through the daily practices, the daily grind. And so, you're going to value the consistency way more, because then you're not going to work yourself out. You're not going to tire yourself out. And you're looking forward to imagine where I'm going to get in 90 days from now, 100 days from now, 300 days from now. How much better am I going to get if I put that daily effort in every single day? How much better am I going to get? And so I want you to think in that way next time that you look for what kind of skills you want to build. Next time you are thinking about getting into working out, next time you think about getting into your diet again, I want you to think about what kind of person will you build if you were consistent for 300 days, 600 days, 1,000 days. Just how would you even feel about yourself? What would you even be able to believe about yourself if you managed to accomplish such a feat as that? Would you feel good? Would you feel proud? I'll leave that up to you. Think about whatever skill you want to pursue, business or art or making videos or speaking or unicycling, whatever it is. What if you're consistent with it every day? how good could you get? So with that, I'd like to thank you for watching. And I will see you in the next one.